Hello everyone, my name is Vibhor and today I am going to tell you about a very good macro that I created for one of my clients. And this macro is basically uh, used for listing down all the folders within the main folder that you have. So first I would show you how how this macro works, and then I will just show you how the back end of this macro would work, or how the code will be working. So just to give you a brief background, this macro basically helps you in listing down all the folders, and can be used as in conjunction with other codes, so that if you have the folder list and the folder path, so first step to run this macro is click on the choose path folder and choose path button, and select the folder that you want to list down, right? So for example, if I want to see all the subfolders, or list down all the subfolders within the downloads folder, I would just click on this, and the folder that I have selected will be appearing in the cell C7. So you can verify this, or you can straight away copy the folder path in the cell C7. So if I want to just work with the documents folder, rather than doing that, I would just copy this. So I think this might not work because it needs the drive. Now the other option, that is cell C8, is if you want to also include the subfolders or not. So if you want to include the subfolders, you need to just select true, or else you need to select false if you only want the main folders within the overall folder that you have selected. So to run this, you just need to click the list folders. So you can see that it has quickly listed down all the folders within the main documents folder, and it also gives you the folder path. So you can use this folder path to basically go into these folders with the help of another macro and perform some operations that you want, maybe deleting a file or adding something or updating something. So all that can be done if you have a list of all these folders. So after this, I would just quickly show you how to include all the subfolders. So I would just click on the true option here, and again click on the same list folders option. So you can see that at the top we have the same folders that appeared earlier, but then the list is bigger this time because it has gone into the main folders. So for example, it has gone into the GitHub folder to find the conversational form folder, and so on. So if I look at the whole list, it's more than 6800 records now, because it won't only go one level down, it would basically list down everything that it can find. So for example, here you can see it has listed down within the GitHub folder, you can see that it has listed down folder to 10 or 12 levels, to the last level it can find. It would give you that information through this code. So this is how this macro actually works, and I would just delete this and bring this back to its original size. So a very simple macro, I would say, but it can be very useful in a lot of applications. And if you want to modify parts of it, so for that, or how the whole macro is working, I would show you how to debug this macro. So in order to debug a macro, you need to go into the VB scripting option for this, the VBA option. So click on Alt F11. So you can see that I am looking at it side by side just to see how the macro will be working, and I have just placed a breakpoint on the start of the macro. So if you want to see which macro a button is referencing to, you can easily just right click on it and go to assign macro, and you can see it's okay, so it's actually going into the list files folder, right? And then that procedure is calling the list my files. So let's put a breakpoint on list files. So what would happen is, if I would click on the list folders option, it would stop at this point, and then using F8 I can debug it row by row. So at the first point it's setting integer variable called iRow and giving it a value for 11. So you can see that here we have the folder path list starting from row 11. So it's basically denoting the same in our macro. And then as I go into the call list my files here, so through this it has picked up the source path, which is this E drive documents, and then it has also picked up the second option that we selected. So earlier we selected the include subfolders as false, but now it's true. So both of the parameters have been passed into the list my files procedure, and we will be using these parameters to basically look through all the subfolders. So now first it has created a object called my object. So it's a file system object, and in order to be able to work with file system objects, there is a small reference that should be enabled. So I am just stopping my code execution here, and I would show you what reference I am talking about. So you can go into tools, references, and you can see this Microsoft scripting runtime, right? So this checkbox should always be checked in if you are working with the file system objects. So if it's checked in, you would not get any errors while executing this macro. So what would happen is, I would again go into the list folders and debug through the first and second option. So now the file system object is created as my object, and another object for the get folder is created, which is my source, and it's using the my source path which was passed through this parameter from the procedure list files. So going into the actual code, so as you can see, I have commented the application screen updating option false, right? I have done this because if I won't comment it, I won't be able to see how this code is looping through the folder, right? And that's what we actually want to see here, right? So I have commented this, but this is a very good option if you want to basically deliver a code. I always recommend using the application screen updating false, because it would make your code faster to run, right? And if you want your users to only see the final result, this can be very helpful. So going forward, you can see that it's calling every my folder. So here we declared the my folder object. So for each my folder in my source dot subfolders, right? So my source is E drive documents, and it's calling all the subfolders, right? So what it would do is, so first of all, it has given the column number, right? So the column number is 2. So the column number is 2, which is column B, and it would just list the first subfolder's path in the column C11. Then it would go into the folder name, right, and it would give the, so before that, like, it incremented the I column value to 3, which is column C, so it does not override the folder path with the folder name, and then it has incremented the row with 1, right? So again it would go into the same option and work with this. So now it would keep on looping through all the subfolders. Once it's done with that, it would look at the other options. So I would just fast track this and go into this. So now it says if includes subfolders, right? So that's true. So it would go into the subfolder command. So now it would say for each my subfolder into the source.subfolder, right? So it would again call another parameter, which is list my files. So it's again calling the same parameter, right? And with the my subfolder.path and include subfolders as true. So see how it's looping through. So it's calling the same procedure from the procedure, right? So it would again call the same procedure. Now the source path would change. So see, it's now looking at the first source path, which is the admin source path, and it would again look at, so it could not find any subfolders in this, so it would again reach back to the same parameter, which is the include some subfolders, and look at the other subfolder. So the other subfolder it's looking at is the databases. So even in databases it could not find anything. Okay, so now let's create a breakpoint here, because we don't want to do it one by one for like till it finds a subfolder, right? So I would just press F5, remove the breakpoint here, press on F5. Now we can see that it found a subfolder which has other folders in it, right? So let's look at the path for that. So it's the GitHub one, right? So I can also do an add watch. What that would do is it would basically give me all the attributes to the object that I have created an add watch to, right? So for example, if I want to see the name of that object, so that's GitHub. So rather than keeping on looking at the objects by hovering over it, we can use this option as well. So what it would do is it would basically look at all the list down all the subfolders within the GitHub folder. So I would again press F5. So now it has moved out of the GitHub folder, right? As you can see, now it has listed down everything within the GitHub folder, and then it would basically look at other options. So now see, now the my source would have changed and it has gone into the conversational form. And if I would press F5, it would list all the folders within the conversational form. So this is how this code works, and I hope you would have learned a bit about VBA programming, how to work with it, how to loop through your code, and I would be happy to share this file with you if you would like, subscribe and comment on this video. So please do like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I would try to create new content and more informational content for you guys every week. So thank you so much and have a good day.